Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Jayden Bryce Show, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in the world of sports. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a super fast show. Forgive me, I had a bunch of stuff that I really wanted to talk about, but had a little mishap today. I actually got stung by a wasp doing some yard work today. Had problems with my finger. I'm out of town for the weekend for my college fall break. I'm going to go meet some family. So this is pretty much going to be a emergency podcast for me today. I had a whole slate planned for you guys, but I'm just going to have to keep it short, keep it simple. I'm cutting time very short today, even just doing this podcast, because I still got a lot of other stuff I need to do before I get ready to leave. But I love you guys so much, and I have to get to the action that I've wanted to talk about. Today, we're going to discuss the action last night between the 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Then we're going to talk about the stuff regarding Shedeur Sanders. And then lastly, we'll just keep it quick and simple. I'm going to end my things off with my picks for week 5, even though I'm technically late for that because we already got one game in. But I'll say I'm go ahead and say I'm 0-1 because I definitely would have picked the 49ers. I would have definitely picked the Los Angeles Rams to win yesterday's matchup. But before we get into all that, guys, thank you for continuing to watch. Make sure you like the podcast, continue to show the show to your friends, subscribe, and check out my links down below to check my podcast out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now let's go ahead and get straight into this game. My takeaway from watching this game was literally, does Mac Jones's play justify Brock Purdy getting signed by the 49ers? Now, I know it's pretty cliche to think that, Mac Jones has played pretty well the last couple of games. Why is it all of a sudden, why would you say something like that? Now, this is the reason why. If you guys want to go back and talk about the draft class in 2021 where the 49ers took Trey Lance, it would be interesting to know, and a little nugget that everybody should take away from my comment is that Kyle Shanahan actually wanted to draft Mac Jones. He loved every single aspect of Mac Jones's game. But it was a little unrealistic. People in the front office really didn't want to draft Mac Jones. They really was in love with Trey Lance. So Kyle Shanahan never got to get the guy that he wanted. Really, really wanted in Mac Jones. Mac Jones, first year in the NFL, as soon as he got drafted under Josh McDaniel, he was a Pro Bowl quarterback, took his team to the playoffs, and he's pretty much had a nosedive in his career. The last couple of years in New England was not that great, and he gets released. I think he spent just 1 year last year on the Jaguars, if I'm not 100% certain. Maybe 1 or 2 years. I want to say it was 1. Then this year, the San Francisco 49ers picked him up. And we know the things going on with Brock Purdy. Signed a big contract over the offseason to make him, he's finally getting his money. Big. I think he's making what? North of $200 million. And going into the season, he's hurt, he's banged up, he's got turf toe, he's had shoulder issues. So after week 1, he gets hurt. Mac Jones comes in, and Mac Jones has been absolutely exceptional. Right now, he's 3-0 as a quarterback so far this season. Statistically, he's played way better than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has turned the ball over 5 times. Brock Purdy has turned the ball over a lot. So, given the history of Kyle Shanahan and how well he is able to pretty much be super successful with any type of quarterback he puts under the helm for the San Francisco 49ers, is it easy to question, should the 49ers have paid Brock Purdy? Because I've been on the record, and I said this many times last year, I never was in love with Brock Purdy. When I watch him play, yes, he throws a nice football. He's pretty much on time. But man, he gets super fortunate with a lot of throws that he makes. He give him credit, he's very gutsy. He's not scared to rip it. But at some point, the luck's going to run out. We saw it in week 1 against Seattle. That dangerous throw that he made to win the game. I personally don't know how it didn't get intercepted. I don't know what Tariq Woolen was even doing. And even the many times, especially specifically when he played my Dallas Cowboys, there were a couple throws that he made where I'm like, What are we doing? How did that throw even get there? But kudos to Brock Purdy. That's how sensational of an accurate passer that he is. But he's never been this transcendent talent at the position. Like, he's not someone like a Josh Allen. He's not a Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have any of those type of traits. He doesn't have a strong arm. He's okay mobile-wise. He fits the standard in this new generation of football where he's a mobile quarterback. He's pretty mobile. He's short. He's not tall. He's not a built guy. He's just your average Joe type quarterback physically. And I promise you, Brock Purdy would, and I've said this many times, I don't think Brock Purdy would have been successful under any other coach than Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle Shanahan is that elite at being a quarterback coach. He made Matt Ryan an MVP. He took him to the Super Bowl. Jimmy G, porn star Jimmy, as people like to call him. Kudos to Stephen A. He took him to the Super Bowl. Took him to multiple NFC championship games. And then the same goes for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy falls in that line. Went to an NFC championship game, you lost, then inevitably go to the Super Bowl and you lost. Many thought if Trey Lance would have stayed healthy, he could have done that with Trey Lance. Probably could have even done better. So when you see the 49ers being so successful with Mac Jones, does it really justify paying Brock Purdy that type of money when you could invest it anywhere else? Because we know the history of the 49ers. Now, this is something else that I do not understand with San Francisco 49ers, specifically in this game. People were dropping like hot flies. They lost 4 defensive players in the first half. I don't know who the strength and conditioning coach is there at San Francisco, but I promise you, his job is going. I don't like to call for anybody's job, but my Lord, something has got to give up there in San Francisco. It makes absolutely no sense how players continue to be hurt in the rate they're hurt. Ricky Pearsall didn't play yesterday. Juwan Jennings did not play yesterday. Christian McCaffrey had calf issues going into the first week of the season. George Kittle, he's out. O-line, multiple O-linemen out. Defensive linemen out. Joey Bosa tears his ACL. Don't even get me started with Brock Purdy, the quarterback. And Mac Jones, and give credit to Mac Jones in this game. Mac Jones was on one leg in this game at the quarterback position, and he won. Something has got to give with that. But you could have used those assets with the money you paid Brock Purdy and spreaded the wealth. Beef up the O-line. Build the cornerback depth. You're very weak at corner, very thin at corner. Because you gave, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Brock Purdy was due his contract yet. I think he had an extra year left I think he was going into this season on his final year of his deal. So, that's just one way to think about it. But, going into this game, Mac Jones was absolutely sensational throwing the football. He was gutsy, stood in there. He was taking shots. Him and Kevin Bourne was reliving that New England vibe they had going on in his rookie year. Like, Kevin Bourne I think he had 10 receptions for 140 yards. The dude was 142 yards. The dude was absolutely sensational last night. And Mac Jones, 33 of 49, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not turn the ball over. That is huge. So the San Francisco 49ers are shockingly 4-1. 8.5-point underdog. I sure didn't think the 49ers even had a shot in this game. If you compare the teams, you got a Los Angeles Rams team with a fantastic quarterback, fantastic wide receiver duo, pretty good running back, pretty good, very, very, very good defensive line. The Rams outmatched the 49ers in every single facet and skill position. And yet the 49ers were able to come up with a dub. That shows you how gritty this team is. It shows how gritty the franchise is. And it shows the leadership of Kyle Shanahan and how he is able to win with much less. And there's been a couple tweets going out today talking about the 49ers were pissed because everybody was not even giving them a chance, and it was pretty much bulletin board material. Just kudos to the San Francisco 49ers. They shocked me, and I just hope they're able to stay healthy. They got a long, they got a mini bye, got a long time. Hopefully, Mac Jones, you're going to sit Brock Purdy as much as possible. You see how well Mac Jones is playing, you're going to sit Brock Purdy as long as you can. Because, look, as much as I say, does it justify? Brock Purdy is the franchise guy. You're not paying a guy $200 million to sit on the bench. It's just not happening. He's going to play. Hopefully, Mac Jones is pretty much pulling a Sam Darnold here. He's getting a year under Kyle Shanahan, building up his portfolio, and hopefully he can go elsewhere and succeed. But Mac Jones is more talented than Brock Purdy. So it would be interesting to see how well Mac Jones really could be under a guy like Kyle Shanahan, because I think that Mac Jones is Kyle Shanahan's dream quarterback. He is. And let's be honest, Kyle Shanahan, under his tenure as the 49ers head coach, has not had a talented quarterback physically. He's had Jimmy G and Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl. Neither one of those guys compared to Mac Jones when it comes to pure football talent. Not even close. I don't want to diss Brock Purdy, but he was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. Executives and scouts with the NFL teams was not looking at Brock Purdy and saying, you know what, this guy's a super talented quarterback. Brock Purdy was a fill-in guy. He was a quarterback 3, quarterback 2, backup quarterback draft. It's like, just in case. He was a just-in-case pick. In the case of Mac Jones was a first-round draft pick. Granted, I mean, a lot of people wasn't in love with Mac Jones coming out of the draft, but he was a first-round draft pick. So that's something interesting. Now let's move on to the Rams. The Rams, to me, lost this game, and I do not blame. I know a lot of people are trying to, give Sean McVay heat for going forward on 4th down there at the end of the game. That is the absolute right call. We're not playing for ties. You were pretty successful running the football with Kyren Williams. You were averaging 4.6 yards a carry. The defensive line, the whole defense for the 49ers was absolutely banged up. You pretty much had nothing to lose. But, credit to the rookie safety. He came down and made a big play and stopped Kyren Williams short, and the O-lineman didn't get a good push. Maybe I would have rather have liked a pass play because pretty much Matt Stafford threw the ball 47 times. It's not, he's already threw the ball enough. What's going to hurt it for him to drop back to pass? Because Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and Tutu Atwell all together were doing pretty much whatever they wanted to those defensive backs. So I agree with the call. I agree with the call to go for it. I don't quite agree with the type of play call. It never irks me the most when you just see coaches in a big moment, big 4th downs, just come up with the most vanilla play call of all time. They're like, you know what, Kyren Williams, line them up, just straight handoff. I'm not a big fan of that. Granted, Sean McVay took a huge risk with, even giving the ball to Kyren Williams, because Kyren Williams is having to fumble rooskies. He has a huge fumble problem. It spans from last year. And that fumble near the goal line at the 1-yard line, that was pretty bad. That, if I'm Sean McVay, I was absolutely livid. Absolutely livid. Ball security. You're 1 yard away from getting a touchdown to win the game, and you fumbled the football. I would have been absolutely livid. But I agree with the decision. I just don't like the play call. I would have liked some type of, play action off of it. Puka Nacua was going to get open. Devontae Adams was going to get open. They even showed a picture of Devontae Adams near the end of the game. He had like this face like, dude, give me the football. But I think the Rams shot themselves in the foot. They turned the ball over too much in this game. And they came out to a very slow start. And the one thing in the NFL, if you let a team that is inferior to you be able to hang on and tread along with you, that gives them more and more determination to want to beat you. That gives them more and more momentum. When a team like the 49ers, they have all them injuries. I bet you going into this game, a lot of them guys, even though they're competitive, they're sitting there like, man, Puka Nacua, best wide receiver in the league statistically right now. Matt Stafford, future Hall of Famer. Devontae Adams, future Hall of Famer. Straight dogs on the D-line. I bet you 49ers were saying to themselves, man, we got a tough battle. And then they go in the first half and put up 14 points. 14 points. And halftime, you have a 17-7 lead against your division rival? Oh, yeah. The Rams put themselves in a huge hole. But kudos to the San Francisco 49ers. It puts into question, which I was very much down on the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to wrap it up here with this, with my final thought here. It's a pretty much what if with this team. What if they were 100% healthy? Just take away Brock Purdy. What if they had a Mac Jones? What if they had Brandon Ayuk? What if they had not even Brandon Ayuk? Let's just say just a regular roster that's supposed to be out there. Everyone on the offensive line, D-line, add in George Kittle in this game. Heck, even Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. I'm interested to see more Mac Jones in the future. But let me know what you guys thought, and I want to know all of your comments. And we're going to move on to our next subject. All right. So this is the main topic of today's show. Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people has had their take on this. I was actually watching live whenever Rex Ryan went on live television to say what he said about Shedeur Sanders. I tried looking up the context of it. I didn't know what he was replying to. I don't know if this was in relations to what happened on Sunday when they got absolutely boat raced. I have no clue. But Rex Ryan said what he said, and he said, Shedeur, you need to shut up and play pretty much. Sit back, take notes, and get better at playing football. Now, let's just go ahead and react to what Shedeur Sanders did.
Vocally, anything to say?
I guess we'll stop with that. I guess one more. I guess what do you think? You have to show, show to the coaches just to have them have that belief in you that you can, be ready.
What can you say?
So there you go there. Shedeur Sanders was pretty much just, antagonizing the media. And a lot of people were throwing things around, talking about, this was in relations to Dylan Gabriel being announced as a starting quarterback. That I knew that wasn't the case to begin with when I first saw it. I always knew that this was a direct response to Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan went and said what he said, talking about, hey, you need to shut up and just learn. And you put two and two together, Shedeur Sanders ain't talking in the media. Come on, that was an easy one. But we got to be honest. Shedeur Sanders is not helping himself acting this way. Because you are the third string quarterback. When they decided to bench Joe Flacco, the organization didn't even think you were good enough and worth it to make you quarterback 2. They said they would rather see Joe Flacco again under the helm rather than Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if that decision is based off of just production value in football or that has to do with a political aspect. I would imagine it's probably a mesh of the two, but either way, Shedeur Sanders, the political component, if there was even a small percentage of political motivation behind that move, this is an example of what you do not do to try and turn the tide, to try and make every single decision that the Cleveland Browns do regarding you potentially playing for the franchise, make it an actual football decision other than politics. Now, that's easier said than done because 9 times out of 10, if Shedeur Sanders is going to go out on the field, as the starting quarterback for the Browns. There's going to be a political component involved in it, of course. But I'm just saying, Shedeur, help your cause. I know you were getting advice from your dad, and, Dion had his little nitbit to say. I get it. You want to be yourself. I'm for it. But at some point in time, you got to read the room. And I haven't discussed it. We know there's the articles that have went around so far about how Shedeur didn't want to get drafted by the Ravens just because he wanted an opportunity to start. Shedeur, help your cause. I get it. You want to be a starting quarterback. But would you rather be a starting quarterback for a historically poverty franchise where quarterbacks go to die? Go ask Baker Mayfield. Seems to me he's doing pretty darn good in Tampa right now, living it up. Or would you have rather went to Baltimore and learn how to win? Learn how to be a starting quarterback. Learn to play the part. Look at the Dak Prescotts. Look at the Jalen Hurts. The Patrick Mahomes, all the quarterbacks who have been able to make it in this league, and Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts is a great representation of that. They weren't first-round picks. When Dak Prescott was put into the helm, they didn't think Dak Prescott was ever going to be a starter in the league. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. The Eagles necessarily didn't draft Jalen Hurts thinking they were getting their franchise guy. But they've done all the right steps into letting their play speak for themselves. Shedeur is not doing that. He's letting all of the antics that are non-football related cloud his opportunities. In this situation, to where you're responding to someone like Rex Ryan, who is super irrelevant to you at the moment. Rex Ryan has no say within that organization if you start or not. No media members do. We are just here to dissect things and give our own interpretation to our audiences that want to hear us. Stop feeding into the media, Shedeur. You ever seen Dak Prescott in the media? The man's the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Gets crapped on week in and week out. And yet he has his chest high, head up, and trying to do the best he can to win. And so far, he's going into year 10, and he's done a darn good job at doing it. He is 30 games above 500. He was a 4th-round draft pick, and he has made a name for himself in this league as a starting quarterback. You have the opportunity to do the same, but you don't want to help yourself. All you had to do in that interview is take the right route and say, look, I'm happy for Dillon Gabriel. And it's not even referencing Dillon Gabriel. Whatever questions they were asking, just straight beeline away from the question like Dak Prescott does. Be like, I'm just here. I'm trying to do my job as a quarterback 3. If that's helping my defense out on scout team, be better against the pass, be more efficient. And whenever my opportunity is given, I'm going to be ready to play. And I'm going to play to the best of my ability. I just said it for you, Shedeur. And I'm not even in the NFL. I'm not even media trained. I'm sure you're media trained. You're supposed to be at least. But whoever is your media coach, they're giving you pretty darn bad advice. But there you go. I'm not even the expert over here. I don't play NFL. I'm not a quarterback in the NFL. I'm not even close. Not even close to the athlete you are. But it don't take the smartest person and the most media savvy person. Granted, I am pretty media savvy. I talk to you guys on a weekly basis, multiple times a week. But it doesn't take much. Just take that approach, and it will work wonders. Because, in all honesty, I believe that the Browns are doing the most they can to not put you out there on the field. They just don't want to deal with it. And it's coming from the top. They're paying Deshaun Watson all this money. I know they're probably hoping Deshaun Watson can get back to the glory days that he used to have, but that's never going to happen again, in my opinion. So, Shedeur, you're fighting an uphill battle. You're just not trying to alleviate any of the stigmatism from the media at all. It's disappointing because I want to see Shedeur on the field. I think he's an exciting player. I think he is a winning quarterback. He throws a great football. And I think he has an opportunity to be a pretty darn good quarterback in this league. And I want to see him on the football field. I want to see him succeed. There's nothing better in sports than seeing people overcome obstacles. That's why Baker Mayfield is such a fascinating player, and it's easy for everybody to root for him because of all the stuff that Baker Mayfield has went through. I mean, we've seen it many a times in the media. The very famous picture of Baker Mayfield in Carolina running scout team at the defensive line position. And it's phenomenal to see that he's came from that to this season being one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. It's just a great thing to see. And it's something that us people in the media want to see Shedeur at some point. But you got to help your cause. Baker learned. And hopefully Shedeur does too. You know, I hope Shedeur will continue to learn from situations like this. And I know Deion Sanders, you know, he was Deion, and I know Shedeur is just like his dad. But the thing about Deion that is different from Shedeur does not have the same cachet to back up the type of personality that he is putting in display in front of the media to back it up. He can't back it up because he's nowhere near the guy that his dad was. His dad coming out of the draft was a super talented player, first round pick. It's not the same for Shedeur. You are a 5th round draft pick. Granted, the Mel Kibers of the world, a lot of people had you as a 1st round grade. But let's just face reality. You're a 5th round quarterback. Just do what you got to do to ultimately get the job. I understand you're trying to be yourself, but at some point help yourself out. But that's my take on that, and that's all I pretty much have to say about that. I want to know what you guys think about that down below in my comment section. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached almost the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. So week 5 is already off to a start, and I need to give my picks for the week. So we are going to go ahead and do that right now with you guys. So we're going to start out with game 1 here. Of course, my Dallas Cowboys going up against the New York Jets. This is going to be a good game. The Dallas Cowboys is favored -1.5. I'm going to definitely smash the Dallas Cowboys on this one. That is an easy one for me. The Vikings and the Browns in London. The Vikings are favored -3.5. I'm going to smash the Vikings. I think Carson Wentz is going to play better. He showed it last week that he is capable of playing pretty decent enough to win because the Steelers had him out the dry pretty much. And Dylan Gabriel, game 1 for Dylan Gabriel. Not a huge fan of him at all. So I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings. Indianapolis -6.5. I'm definitely going to take Indianapolis here. I think that Daniel Jones has played phenomenal this year, and I'm very looking forward to talking to him at some point because I do want to bring him up in some way, form, or fashion. They should be 4-0 right now if A.D. Mitchell didn't decide to just want to fumble the ball in the end zone, and the holding call that called back a phenomenal run by Jonathan Taylor. So just a couple plays away from being 4-0, and they're playing super great football. So I don't like what I'm seeing from Geno Smith at all. He throws the ball to the other team so much, and we know about that young and ascending defense over there in Indianapolis. So give me the Indianapolis Colts -6.5. Giants Saints, this is an easy one for me. This is going to be a Jackson Dart tune-up game. Malik Neighbors out. This is the perfect opportunity to establish some type of offensive identity without your star number one quarterback, and it is best to do against Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints. So give me, the New Orleans Saints are favored in this game. So give me the New York Giants plus 2.5, please. This is a good one down in Philadelphia. We have the Denver Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is favored minus 4.5. I'm going to take the Broncos plus 4.5. I still think the Eagles could possibly win by a field goal, but I think 4.5 is way too many points. I love the Denver Broncos defense. Pat Surtain is going to put A.J. Brown in a box, and that discourse will continue this week, and they're going to force Jalen Hurts to win. And I think they're going to keep it a close game, but I honestly do see Philly pulling off that magic that they do to somehow win this game. Because at some point, y'all know me, it's consistency with Bo Nix. We talked about it on Tuesday. Bo Nix has got to find some consistency. He is liable of playing a phenomenal game, but there's one boneheaded mistake that he will play that will cost his team, and he might do it in this game. So I'm going to take the Broncos plus 4.5, but I think Philly will ultimately win the game by 3. Panthers, Dolphins, give me Miami. Look, it's the Carolina Panthers. Don't trust them at all. They played great, put up 30 against Atlanta, and then last week they lay a goose egg against the New England Patriots. I don't know if that had to do more about the Patriots or that had to do more about the Panthers, but I definitely trust Tua and that offense more. I think the defense is starting to get themselves together, and I'm taking Miami minus 1.5. Texans Ravens, this is a good one. I'm definitely going to take Houston minus 1.5. The Ravens are going to just try to run the ball as much as they can in order to be successful. So basically, it's going to be Derrick Henry in a dream. You got Cooper Rush at quarterback. Not much you're going to be able to do in the pass game. And I love the defense of the Houston Texans, and they are really the only reason why Houston has even been in games. So I'm definitely going to take the Houston Texans minus 1.5. Cardinals Titans, give me the Cardinals minus 7.5. Look, Cam Ward, he even said himself, the Titans are straight crap, and I think Kyler at home got a long mini bye. They're going to be ready to play, and this is going to be a good chance for Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray to get back that synergy they have with one another. So I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 7.5. Seahawks Bucks. This is a great game. Seattle is favored minus 4.5. Bucky Irvin is on the injury report. I don't know if he is going to play. I don't love the offense. I'm not super in love with the offense of the Buccaneers. Of the offense of the Seahawks. But Seattle is at home. I have this game being close. Give me the Buccaneers plus 4.5. But I have Seattle winning by 3. I think this is going to be a field goal type game. Yeah. Give me Seattle to win, but I'm taking the Bucks plus 4.5 here. I just think playing in that stadium is hard. And, it's going to take Baker-type antics to hopefully win this game. He's going to have to pass the ball because Rashid White, being your lead back, I don't know how well that's going to be the Bucky Irvin combo. That's why it's been super successful for them, because that Seahawks defense is really, really good. So that's something to watch about that. Moving on. Lions-Bengals, not even a doubt. Give me the Lions minus 9.5. I think this is potentially going to be another blowout. The Lions are going to run the ball down Cincinnati's throat, and Jake Browning cannot find the way to give the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and I don't see that changing in a short week this week for them. Give me the Lions. This is going to be a great game. Commanders-Chargers, I think this is America's game of the week. Chargers minus 3.5. Give me the Chargers at home. This is going to be coming off a bad loss. This is like the perfect prime position to pick the Chargers as the winner at 3.5. That's over a field goal. They're going to win by a touchdown. Give me the Chargers minus 3.5. Short week, coming off a loss. Yeah, Chargers are going to be ready to play some ball. Patriots Bills. Now this is a good game. And the Monday night game against Chiefs Jaguars. Give me the Patriots plus 7.5. I think they might keep this close. I'm ready to watch this game because I want to see if I can really buy into Drake May and the Patriots. They've played some cupcakes in the games that they've won, but the Patriots should be 3-1. They should not have lost that game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're pretty much self-inflicting wounds is the reason why they've been losing games. So I'm a bet on that, even though they are on the road. But I think they could keep this close because we saw that the New Orleans Saints were able to be successful on offense against this Buffalo Bills defense. If Spencer Rattler can have success, not Mac Jones. Oh, jeez, I'm over talking about Mac Jones earlier. I'm over here thinking he's still the quarterback of the New England Patriots. But Drake May should still be able to have success if Spencer Rattler can too. So that's my reasoning behind that pick. Now, Chiefs and Jaguars. Now, this is a phenomenal game. This is a great, great game. I'm going to take the Jaguars plus 3.5. And I'm going to tell you why. I possibly still have the Chiefs winning by 3, but I'm going to take the Jaguars because I think this game is going to be close. You're at Jacksonville. Now, if this was in Kansas City at Arrowhead, I would think differently, but this is the type of game that Trevor Lawrence can really show who he is. He can be the reason why you can win this game, and he could really, really be the reason why you lose this game. But Trevor Lawrence has got a shot to exhibit his skills against Patrick Mahomes, the prince who was promised. In Trevor Lawrence, the prince who was promised can show himself up against Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to Nick Wright. This is pretty much the Nick Wright Bowl here going on. The prince who was promised versus the king. You can't ask for nothing better. Shout out to First Things First. But I'm going to take the Jaguars plus 3.5 because why not? I really love Trevor Lawrence. I really do. I'm a Trevor Lawrence stan. So that's a pretty biased pick for me. I just want Trevor Lawrence to be successful. I think he's just way too talented to not be successful in this league. He really is. But those are going to be my picks for the week. I know I've been over here saying that I was going to give you guys my basically my records, but I haven't been able to go back and look. So hopefully this week. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to do it next week. I'm not going to sit here and sit here and tell you guys a lie. I'm not even going to say it. If I do it, I do it, and you'll see it in my repost next week. But again, this was not even a quick show. It was still 45 minutes long. I wanted to be even shorter than this, but I thank you guys so much for joining me. Sorry, I didn't mean to press that button. I have to hurry up and get out of here now. I kind of wanted to be off of here by 4:10, roughly 4:10-ish. So I got a good hour to get what I need to get done and get out of here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. And enjoy your weekend of football. Got a pretty good slate. Got some great games, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. I'm going to go enjoy some golf over the weekend with some family, and I'm going to be fresh and energized, ready to talk for you guys. I'm about to whip up some of these videos for y'all to be posting over the weekend, and I will see you guys till then. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace, love, and positivity always. I love you guys. Peace.